we have here? So there's a breakfast tier list, and what we're going to be doing is going through each one of these today, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about them. Because, I mean, some of these in here are kind of repetitive anyway, and a couple of them just don't make any sense at all. So we're going to go through and see how close you are to being actually correct in your breakfast thinking, because this is exactly what you need to follow. So next time you're wondering what to eat for breakfast, go to my tier list, and S plus, that's probably what you want to eat. Just gonna say that outright. If S plus is too difficult for you, A tier stuff might be the way to go. Just probably anything below that you don't really want to touch too often. So I mean, a couple of these are just my opinion, but most of these it should be everybody's opinion. So we're gonna go through this. All right, we'll get started. Let's start with the cereal. There's every kind of cereal known to man in here, and cereal's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on the B, just above midline here, just because it's all right. Maybe you want it every once in a while, but not for me every day. That's for sure. Rarely. Omelet. Omelet. I don't know. There's something about it. I just don't like. I don't know what it is. I like eggs in general. I like the stuff that goes into an omelet for the most part. I just don't like how it's cooked. I don't know. Maybe it's just that the eggs kind of get a little toastier than I like. Maybe I just like them just barely done. And I'm going to have to go ahead and throw them on the D tier, just because it's just not for me. All right, what do we have next? Hash browns, and the issue with some of these is they're not complete breakfast meals. So how should I rate this? I mean, hash browns by itself is not a complete meal at all. So you're eating hash browns, and that's going to get you through a small portion of your morning before you're like, man, I should have eaten something else, right? I mean, I should have had, let's see, some bacon with it. Should have had some country style sausage gravy on top. But as a standalone item with other things, I believe it's pretty high tier for me. I can always enjoy hash browns. English muffin with butter. This is another one of those things where I don't think of a time, I can't think of a time where I haven't enjoyed an English muffin with butter on it. So I'm going to just throw that up in the A tier right now. A bagel, well, it looks like deformed bagel. I mean, I shouldn't talk here. I haven't tried to make a bagel before, but look at this thing. It's not symmetrical. And look how big the hole is in the middle. Like, what if you want to put some cream cheese on it? What if you want to make a sandwich out of that? And your meat in the middle, if you do like some cream cheese, some meat, and whatever else you want, the meat in the middle is just exposed here. Like, just doesn't make any sense. You got to make that hole smaller, so when you cut it in half, it doesn't fall apart on this side, and it makes it where you get the bready parts when you have the meat. So just a little design flaw with this one bagel in particular, and perhaps the ones you're making if you think this is a normal looking bagel, because it is not. I've seen them at the store, come in a package of 6, and they don't have a big hole in the middle, and they're perfectly round. So every bagel should look like that. Now, bagel by itself, it's okay. Toasted, much better. With butter on it, very good. Different kinds of bagels. There's a bunch of them. They're all pretty decent. Like I said, cream cheese sandwich. I'm going to say it's a breakfast item in general. I'll put it with cereal. I think it's okay. But breakfast, probably not. I would say more of a lunch, just because I like a sandwich more than I like having it as a side dish for my breakfast. A muffin. I don't like sweets. I'm going to be honest. Sweets are not good, in my opinion. There's just something about it. I don't know. Certain sweets I can get down with. I love some ice cream. I love cheesecake. That's the only kind of cake I like, actually. I just don't like the dryness of a muffin. I don't know. it's bad. I'm gonna put that down with the omelet. It's not bad as in it's terrible to eat. Like I've eaten muffins before, I've eaten omelets before, so it's not in the just not good tier. But it's okay. It's there. Toast and guacamole on it. Looks like it's already made up guacamole. I don't think of that as just a smashed avocado. So you got a little bit of burnt toast, especially the top edge there, with some guacamole on it. I am not a fan of guacamole either. It's okay. I'd prefer like chips and salsa more than chips and guacamole. But I do believe I would prefer this over these two items. So I'm going to put that as C tier. It's alright. I wouldn't pick it out. I wouldn't eat it. If I had the choice, I would definitely take anything above this, even as a standalone, even if I ate nothing else with it. Now, cinnamon rolls, another sweet item, but that being said, I can get down with some cinnamon rolls. I really like the flavor of cinnamon, so that kind of gets me past there. And it's like the texture of this, it's not dry at all. It's just kind of moist, it's squishy. You just bite into it, you feel like I don't know, you're getting the nice texture. I don't know how to describe it any more than that. But that's easily a B tier. And a breakfast item, it's okay. It's kind of like the donut. The donut's okay as a breakfast item, but you feel like maybe you should be eating something else with it. At least I do. So we're going to stick that on B. Now, we got an issue here. The next one doesn't make any sense. Who's eating a whole plate of fruit salad? Like, what are you doing with your life where you're like, hey, here's a plate of fruit salad. This is my breakfast. And you got some garnish on top too. Like, what? Who's eating this much fruit for breakfast? I mean, maybe if you're constipated, you're like, okay, this is my breakfast now for another week to get the cheese out of my system because I ate a whole brick. But other than that, you're not eating a whole plate of fruit salad. And plus the time to prepare this, I mean, I could make any one of these other breakfasts in the same amount of time or less, and it's a nice warm meal that has, protein in it. It has, some carbs to get me going through the day. There's sugar obviously in fruit, so there's some, but they'll go through you really quickly, so it doesn't sustain you. Now, I think this is absolutely ridiculous. No matter how much I like fruit, you're not eating this for breakfast. I don't care who you are. For a breakfast item, C tier. If this was given to me as an afternoon snack, a whole plate, I'd be like, that's quite a bit of fruit. I don't know if I want to eat all that. But you're up in the A tier at least, because I love fruit. But breakfast, no thanks. Give me one orange. Give me a handful of blueberries and a kiwi with a side this is the side with something else. Parfait cup. So parfait cup, you got your yogurt in there, you got some berries and some granola on top. I mean, who wouldn't like it? It sounds delicious. That's probably going to be an A tier. It's got everything you need. It's got some carbs in there. It's got a lot of protein from the yogurt, and berries are delicious. So that's an A tier. What is this? I think it's a slice or slab of ham. Now I'm curious because I'm looking at this one over here, and this one looks, is one of these Spam? Like, I'm going to say this is ham and this is thick sliced Canadian bacon, which is similar, but there's a slight difference there, especially on a pizza. Ham, it's okay. I would say it's not necessarily my favorite meat for breakfast, but it's alright. I'm going to throw that in C. Bacon. Bacon's a tough one for me because it's absolutely delicious. It's wonderful. But then again, it's very fatty. And if I eat a lot of it, I kind of feel a little sick. So as much as I want to put that on S, because I never turn down bacon for any reason, I'm going to put it on the A. Nothing's this good and nothing's this bad yet. And then I'm going to find some stuff. Don't you worry, because I'm looking at this right here. Eggs Benedict. You get the delicious egg underneath, poached egg, with some ham, with some whatever kind of meat. There's different kinds. There's the California Benedict, which I believe is ham, and then the regular one's bacon, or I got those mixed up. But anyway, you got the delicious hollandaise sauce poured on top on an English muffin. So you got everything you want just in this one dish. So yeah, sure, you can make your English muffin, but you've already put butter on it, so you're probably not making it into a eggs Benedict. So this one, easy S plus. One of my favorite breakfasts. I can always eat that. I think it's absolutely delicious. Now, now I looked at this one too, and what are you doing for breakfast? Baked beans? That's all you're eating for breakfast? Baked beans? It's like pork and beans, baked beans, whatever it is. I like them. Sometimes it's not breakfast. It's just not good. I'm not eating beans for breakfast. Your whole day's ruined. Your stomach's just upset. You're gassy. Like, why are you eating beans for breakfast? And I'm kind of confused by this one. What is this? It looks like a bowl full of croutons, but I'm thinking it's potatoes. But then I'm looking over at this one on the far right, and that looks like potatoes. And then there's a bunch of potatoes everywhere, because I think these are more hash browns. It's hash brown patties, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is just seasoned potatoes. Or I'm completely off, and this is something I just don't know what it is. So as far as this is a breakfast dish, I don't really see it happening because you have so many other choices with a potato that are just way better. I think it goes above baked beans. Like, what are you doing with baked beans for breakfast? No. It's D tier just because of the baked beans are down here. If the baked beans weren't on this list, then it could be down here and just not good. Hash brown patty with some kind of sauce on top, a light gravy. Well, it looks like a thicker style. Maybe that's sour cream with some green onions or chives. And honestly, all that sounds pretty tasty to me. I'm gonna put that up with the hash browns, just right up next to them, because it's a similar dish. To be honest with you, you kind of want something with that. It's not gonna just be a standalone. Now, scanning these, and I believe this is going to be some kind of... So when I first looked at this, for some reason I thought it was like tuna salad or something of that nature, but I'm pretty sure that this is biscuits and gravy. And if that's the case, that's one of my other favorite breakfasts. You got meat in there. You got some fat, of course, quite a bit actually, depending on the meat you use and the gravy you make from it. And you got like a biscuit underneath. I mean, obviously a biscuit, but you can make them several different ways. They're usually a little bit chewy, not in a bad way. Just like they don't have a crunch to them. They're nice and soft. Now, this is definitely up there with the Eggs Benedict. I mean, I could go for either one. Even right now, I'm recording this in the evening. I could go for either one. They're just good all-around dishes. And if I'm out at a restaurant and there's these two options and the biscuits and gravy is cheaper by at least like a $2-3, I'll go for that. Eggs Benedict, usually 9 plus. I think 9's like the cheapest you can find, maybe, at a little diner. And it goes up into low teens from there, I believe. Maybe even higher at a fancy place. But biscuits and the gravy are always going to be cheaper, and you're pretty much always going to have more food. So I usually pick this over Eggs Benedict. Now, Canadian bacon here, I believe. It's just, I'd say it's a better meat than just a slab of ham, but it's a little bit worse than bacon for sure. Sausages. I'm just gonna go through these. The sausages, about the same. Now I'm even gonna put them down with the ham. It's all right. I don't just think about, hey, I want some sausage links in the morning. Maybe some of you do. Not for me. Now a sausage patty, same area for me. It fills the same kind of craving where you're just like, okay, I'll have a little bit of greasy food with my meal, some bread to soak that up, of course, because too much grease and nothing to soak it up. I don't think I'll feel too great. Now, a little bit overcooked toast, a little bit crunchy. That's all right. Sometimes I like it that way. With the tiniest bit of butter, just on the center, and then spread to one corner. Usually, that's a mistake. I would say this technique is not correct. You want to do 4 small pats of butter, 1 on each quadrant, and then you spread from there out from each pat. This is just it's not thought out very well. I don't understand what you're doing. But that aside, toast, it's decent. I'll have some toast with my meal. I'll put it in the B. It's okay. It's not bad. It's about the bagel. I think it's slightly worse than a bagel. It's worse than a bagel, let's be honest. If I was asked, hey, you want a toasted bagel with butter on it, or do you want some regular bread with toasted with butter on it, I'd be like, give me that bagel. Oatmeal. Oatmeal with bananas, some powdered sugar maybe, or coconut, and raspberries, I think. I'll just say oatmeal in general. Oatmeal's okay. It kind of fills that light breakfast meal. It's like soup for lunch or something. You're like, okay, let me have a lighter breakfast. Okay, I'll get my oats out and pour some water in it, and make sure it's heated up. You don't want to eat that cold. That's kind of gross. I'm gonna put that under. I'm gonna put that under C, and I'm gonna move this down to here. This is not a breakfast. This is, and it's a decent breakfast. It's okay. Actually, gonna swap these. Oatmeal's better than cereal for me. Okay, fried eggs. These are sunny side up, but I'm just gonna say fried in general. It's standard. It's so classic yet always so good. Like no matter what, if an egg is cooked right for breakfast, I'm not gonna complain. And that goes right along with the bacon up there. Is that the only one that goes with the? I feel like the eggs have to go top tier just because it's the egg. It's the standard way of making the egg. It's easy for anybody trying to make an egg. Like Eggs Benedict, a little bit harder. You could break the hollandaise. Might be a little tougher to make at home. Fried eggs, I mean anybody can make them. Not necessarily perfect, but anybody can make eggs. S plus. All right. So we got deviled eggs. These aren't made correctly at all. Well, then they're at least not finished. So they're hard boiled. I like to boil mine for about 12 minutes, and the interior gets to pretty good consistency to where it's getting to the dry point, but in the very center of that you got some moisture. So what you want to do is pull out all of the centers there and mix it in a bowl with a few ingredients, and I like to add a little bit of butter to that just to make it extra smooth. You stick it back in. You can add some toppings. I like to add paprika at the end. So this hasn't done anything to it. So these are just hard-boiled eggs. Should I just take it as hard-boiled eggs? Yeah, these are hard-boiled eggs. These aren't deviled eggs. These are hard-boiled eggs. All right. So hard-boiled eggs, they're okay. They're dry. Put some salt on them. It's okay. They're down here for me. I'll eat them for sure. I think they're better than these options just because I like eggs. But I could see how any one of these would be higher than this for you. Pancakes. Always down for pancakes. I think they're solid, A tier. But they're can be dry. You got to put a lot of stuff on them to moisten them up. You got to put butter on them. You got to put some syrup on them. You might put honey on them if you prefer. Some people put molasses on them, but butter and syrup is where I usually go. And It's classic. It's fine. I actually enjoy it quite a lot on some occasions, but not all the time. So that's why it's not S plus. It's just it's there, but I'll definitely eat some pancakes if they're made. Um, Now French toast. French toast, I believe, is just a better pancake. I mean, you do the same thing to it. I mean, you don't cook it the same, but you put the same stuff on it. You got the butter, you got your syrup. You can put fruit on. I mean, you can put a fruit on pancakes. That's fine. But I think it just tastes so much better. I would prefer French toast over pancakes probably any day. That's S plus for me. If somebody made French toast, or I'll make French toast, and I don't think anybody's going to complain. Now, is this another hash brown patty? It's like the same as all of this. So I'm going to put it in the same situation. I mean, this looks like something from McDonald's breakfast, which, I've had them before. They're pretty good. I'm going to put them in the same tier. Now, more potatoes. Where did I put the other potatoes? Down here. That's not breakfast. These are like small hash browns. These are like bigger potatoes. I feel like these are small hash browns, so they should be somewhere in this same area. But I'm going to put them in B. This might be the actual, yeah, like cubed hash browns. But this is not. I don't know what this is. More bagels. These are bagels done a little bit better. They're topped with some sesame seeds. Looks like these on the outskirts are plain. That's all right. Now I'm confused. Why is this bagel in here? Why would you have the deformed bagel in here as well? Unless this is not a bagel, and this is something completely different that looks exactly like a bagel with a huge hole. Whatever. They're in the same spot right now. Croissant. They're flaky. They're buttery. They taste pretty good, but not necessarily for me. I would prefer a bagel over croissant pretty much any day. Stick it right there. Donut. Now, a donut, they're okay sometimes. I rarely like them. And this one in particular, pink frosting with some sprinkles on top. I cannot stand frosting, and I can't stand sprinkles. I think they're gross. Baked beans and this donut. This is what you get for breakfast. Somebody eats this. Okay, just biscuits by themselves without the gravy on top. Not near as good. Throw them with the croissants. They're not. They're okay. They're flaky. They're kind of the same aspect as this, except you got to put some butter on them. Steak and eggs. I mean, it's got eggs, it's got steak. There's not much to really complain about here. I'm going to put this on the S+, just because, I mean, this is even a T-bone steak, and you got 3 eggs here? Wow. Nobody is going to be, like, hungry after that. You're going to eat that up, and you're like, wow, I got a bunch of protein. I got, I mean, a lot of fat, sure, but it'll get you through the day for sure. You will not have to wonder when lunch is coming when you eat this breakfast, especially when you're eating a whole entire steak. This is probably like a 3/4 of a pound of a steak, maybe even more. Maybe it's a whole pound. That's a lot of steak. Now, what is this? It looks almost like mashed potatoes, or it looks like vanilla ice cream, or it just looks like whipped butter. I have no clue what this is, and I don't like it. We're gonna end this by putting this thing in just not good, because I mean, one big thing about eating is kind of understanding what you're eating and kind of knowing the flavors you're gonna get before you eat it, and then once those flavors are given to you and those tastes are satisfied, then you're like, oh yeah, this was really good. This is what I expected. This thing, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't know what to expect. I feel like it's just a mystery meal of just something off-white that's been mixed together. So it'd be more like a French vanilla ice cream. But anyway, that's going to do it for this list. I mean, I think they're all It's all safe here. Because, I mean, I'm sure some people would disagree with a couple of these, but in all likelihood, this is exactly what everybody would think when they think about breakfast and what they like. So, Eggs Benedict, biscuits and gravy, fried eggs, French toast, steak and eggs, top tier. They're up here. They're above the screen. A, hash browns, hash browns, hash browns, English muffins, parfait cups, bacon, and pancakes. A tier. They're good. I mean, I'll eat them anytime they're provided to me. But that being said, a lot of these are not complete meals, and I like the flavor of the stuff above it just a bit better. B tier. Oatmeal, bagel, deformed bagel. Deformed bagel goes down here. Let's be honest. It's deformed. I would way rather eat this nice full bagel than this one. And since they're both on this list, this one comes down. But bagels in general, up here probably. Cinnamon rolls. Tasty. They're up here. Canadian bacon, some hard-boiled eggs, and some cubed hash browns. And then anything below this, you just probably don't want to touch unless it's the one food you like. You have to have that. Like some people with cereal, it's like, I need to have my cereal in the morning. Like, that's all I can eat. So that's fine. Hey, maybe you'll have that in S+. Not for me. So toast and guacamole. I think we said this was ham. Just a slice of ham. Sausage patty, toast and butter, cereal, croissants, biscuits, and the deformed bagel. Now down here, if asked, hey, do you want this? I might take the fruit. Not this much fruit. I would eat something else too. I'd be like, yeah, I could go for some fruit. I mean, when can I not go for some fruit? This is not breakfast just by itself. It can go on top of a lot of different items here. And that's fine. Or on the side of a lot of different items, most items. I'm not going to eat a full plate of fruit in the morning and say, this is all I'm eating right now. Omelet, don't really like it. Muffin, think it's too dry, don't like it. Whatever this is, I think it's potatoes. It's not breakfast. I mean, maybe I would eat this, but come on. Hash browns. It's right here. Why would you add this one? It doesn't make sense. Baked beans. Now, we've talked about this in length. Baked beans are not even close to breakfast. I don't know who on the planet is like, hey, son, what do you want for breakfast? And he's like, you got any more baked beans? Or did we eat all the last can, yesterday morning? It's like, it's ridiculous. Oh. Anyway, donut with bunch of frosting, no good. And this thing is down here because it doesn't make any sense. It feels like this would be your breakfast. If you ate any one of these, you would have the others with it. And I know some people are going to be like, hey, donuts are actually good. You're not giving them, it's not fair. It's a donut. I mean, everybody loves them. Donuts as a whole, I might put it in D. This donut in particular, it's just not good. I would never eat that. If offered, no. I wouldn't touch it. If somebody was paying me to eat it, okay. I'd eat any one of these if somebody paid me to eat it. Give me 50 cents, sure, I'll eat it. I'll eat a donut I don't like. Yes, I'm pretty cheap, so. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.